My father always presented himself as my protector, the guardian of my future. But it was all a lie. For years, he'd been hiding my inheritance, a secret fortune that was rightfully mine. Every birthday card, every seemingly generous gift, every promise he made, they were all just part of an elaborate mask, a performance designed to cover up his deception. Growing up, he was strict, but I always believed he was loving. That's the image he carefully crafted. He preached the virtues of responsibility, hard work, and financial prudence. Earn your own way, he'd say, and you'll appreciate it more. I believed him. I trusted him with everything. When it came time for college, I took out student loans. When I started my career, I sought his advice on investments. I even trusted him to manage our family's savings. It never crossed my mind that he was secretly hoarding a massive inheritance meant for me, all under the guise of protecting me for my own good. I bought into the narrative completely, convinced he had my best interests at heart. That illusion shattered on a completely ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I was looking for an old photo album in his home office, a room that was usually off limits. Tucked away in a dusty filing cabinet, behind folders of old tax returns, I found a leather-bound portfolio. Curiosity got the better of me. Inside, my world turned upside down. There were account statements from banks I'd never heard of, deeds to properties I never knew existed, and complex legal documents. All of it was under his name as a trustee, but the beneficiary, clearly stated in black and white, was me. A cold, heavy anger started to build in my chest. This wasn't just a small trust fund. This was a fortune, enough to have paid for my education 10 times over, to have bought my first apartment outright, to have given me a start in life without the constant struggle and debt he'd insisted was character building. I had worked multiple jobs through college, lived in tiny apartments, and meticulously saved every penny, all while he was sitting on this. My hands were shaking as I took photos of every single page. That evening, I confronted him. I laid one of the bank statements on the dining table between us. He didn't even flinch. He just looked at me, a condescending smile playing on his lips, and laughed. He actually laughed. "Oh, you found that?" he said casually. "Don't worry about it. You're not ready for that kind of money yet." Not ready? I was 28 years old. I had a career of fianc, a life I had built entirely on my own. I had navigated every major milestone without a cent of his hidden money. That's when it hit me with absolute clarity. This was never about protecting me. It was about controlling me. By keeping me financially dependent, or at least making me believe I was, he kept me under his thumb. He needed to be the patriarch, the one holding all the power. My independence threatened that. That night marked the beginning of my plan. But it wasn't easy. The initial wave of anger gave way to a crippling doubt. Could I really take on my own father? He was a master manipulator, beloved in our family and community. A confrontation could tear our family apart. For weeks I was tormented. I'd spend hours at night, rereading the documents, the stark evidence of his lies burning into my memory. The anxiety was suffocating. My friends noticed I was constantly on edge. My fiancé grew more and more worried, asking what was wrong. Even my mother, who I suspected knew something but was too afraid to speak up, seemed hesitant and distant. There were moments I almost gave up. I thought about just walking away, letting him keep it. Maybe the peace was worth more than the money. But then, I'd remember all the sacrifices I'd made. Every birthday he gave me $100 check while sitting on millions meant for me. Every time he lectured me about being frivolous with my hard-earned money, the anger would come rushing back, stronger than before. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about justice. It was about reclaiming my life from his control. So, I made a move. Secretly, I hired a top financial lawyer, one who specialized in trust and estate disputes. We started digging. We traced every hidden account, every shell corporation, every secret investment he had made using my inheritance. The more we uncovered, the more intricate his web of deceit appeared. He had moved money around, created complex legal structures, all to keep it hidden from me. But he made one critical mistake. He underestimated me. He thought I was still the naive child who would believe his every word. He never imagined I would have the courage or the resources to fight back. With every new piece of evidence, My resolve hardened. We had everything: bank records, property titles, even correspondence where he discussed his strategy to keep the assets off limits. I had enough proof to destroy him in court. But a quiet legal battle wasn't enough. He had built his reputation on the lie of being a responsible, loving father. I needed to dismantle that lie in front of everyone he'd fooled. I decided to do both: take legal action and confront him publicly. The perfect opportunity presented itself at our annual family reunion, an event he always hosted. It was his stage. He loved playing the role of the generous patriarch, basking in the admiration of our relatives. This year, I was going to change the script. I walked in late, my lawyer by my side. The room was filled with cheerful chatter. My father was in the middle of a story, boasting about how he taught his children the value of hard work. The timing was perfect. I cleared my throat, and the room fell quiet. "I'm glad you brought that up, Dad," I said, my voice calm and steady. I held up a thick stack of documents. "Because I think it's time everyone knew the truth about my inheritance." Faces turned from him to me, confused. Step by step, I laid it all out. I explained how he had systematically hidden my assets, manipulated accounts, and lied to my face for over a decade. The whispers started to spread across the room. My father's face went from confident to pale. He tried to interrupt, to dismiss it as a misunderstanding, to gaslight me in front of everyone. "She's just being emotional," he stammered. "She doesn't understand these complex financial matters." That was my cue. I pulled out my phone and played a recording. It was a conversation he'd had with his closest friend a few weeks prior, a friend who, feeling guilty, had agreed to help me. On the recording, my father's voice was clear, bragging about how he was keeping my inheritance safely away from me because I was too irresponsible. He admitted everything. Absolute silence fell over the room. The only sound was his own voice, condemning him. For the first time in my life, I saw my father completely and utterly speechless. The mask was gone. The performance was over. In the weeks that followed, the legal process was swift. With the mountain of evidence we had, he had no choice but to sign everything over. I reclaimed every account, every property, every single dollar that was rightfully mine. He couldn't lie, manipulate, or gaslight me anymore. The power he held over me was gone. The last time I saw him, he just stood there, diminished. I looked at him and didn't feel anger or sadness, just a strange sense of pity. I finally saw him for what he truly was, a small, insecure man, terrified of losing control. And in that moment, I knew I was finally, truly free. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever felt controlled or manipulated, know that you have the strength to reclaim your power. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.